Good morning, everybody. I'm reading today from a book called The Wisdom of Vedanta, and the author is S. Abhayananda, and I apologize in advance because I'm hopeful that my pronunciation is going to be accurate, but I would not be surprised if my pronunciation of some of these words is going to be a little off. So I'm reading from a chapter called The Quest for Joy, and it starts, everyone in the world is seeking joy. We may call it by different names like happiness, fulfillment, satisfaction, bliss, perfection, etc. But whatever the name, it is that joy we're seeking. Whether in eating, drinking, sleeping, playing, or working, in everything we do, we're looking to find that ideal, that ultimate state. We may have a wonderful wife or husband, a successful career, good health, a nice home to live in beautiful surroundings with plenty of good food to eat, and still we're unfulfilled, unsatisfied, restless, looking for something more. It is joy we lack. It's that joy we lack. And we continue to look for it in all our activities and occupations, all our relationships, and all our pleasure seeking. But alas, at the end of the day, we have found no joy. And with what relish we turn at last to our beds, where we can find some respite, some rest from all the day's busyness and toil, from all our futile searching. We know that here, at least, in the oblivion of nothingness experienced in sleep, we shall find a little of that joy we sought so vigorously during the day. In sleep, we don't gather with a group of friends and drink cocktails. We don't witness any flamboyant floor shows or listen to any rock and roll bands. Rather, we enter deep into ourselves, and it is there that we find the joy of peace, of silence. And then we awake. We feel refreshed and renewed and ready to enter into the clamorous din of activity in search of joy all over again. From this, it is clear that the joy we seek is there within us all the time. But we must learn to experience it consciously, not just in our deep sleep. Have you heard the story of the musk deer, which runs madly about in the search of the source of the wonderful fragrance which it has sensed, only to discover that as it lies down in exhaustion, that the fragrance which it so eagerly sought emanates from its own navel? Well, we are in that similar predicament. We too seek in the world outside that which lies. We too seek in the world outside that which lies in its fullness within us. That joy is our true nature. In fact, the reason we search for joy with such unflagging determination is that we have the memory of our true nature. We remember in the dim recesses of our being that we are heirs to a tremendous joy, that in fact we are that joy. As we grow up, we nurture the desire to become great, to live as gods. No one ever desired to become little and poor. No one ever prayed to God for suffering, and not even in a dream. It is joy we seek. And why? Because joy is our nature, our heritage. Joy is another name for the self, for God, that one and only reality of our being. There is a story in the Taittiriya Upanishad, which tells of a boy named Brigu and how he came to understand the true nature of joy. One day, according to the story, Brigu Varuni went to his father, Varuna, and said, "Father, please explain to me the mystery of Brahman." And then his father spoke to him about the food of the earth, the vital breath, the mind, and so forth. And then he said to his son, "Seek to know him from whom all beings have come, by whom they live, and unto whom they all return. He is Brahman." So Brigu concentrated all his energy on knowing the truth, and he came to the conclusion that Brahman was the food of the earth. Since all beings have come from food, they live by food, and onto the earth they return. But this did not satisfy him. So again he went to his father, Varuna, and said, "Father, explain please to me the mystery of the Brahman." And his father replied as before, and added, "Seek to know Brahman by prayer, because Brahman is prayer." Brigu concentrated all his energy again in order to know the truth, and he came to the conclusion that Brahman was life. For from life all beings have come, by life they all live, and unto life they all return. But this too he found unsatisfactory. Again and again he returned to his father, and again he came to unsatisfactory conclusions, until finally he realized that Brahman was joy. For from joy all beings have come, by joy they all live, and unto joy they all return. Upon realizing this, Brigu exclaimed, "Oh, the wonder of joy! I am the food of life. I am the one who eats the food of life. I am the two-in-one. I am the self-born of truth. I was before the gods, and I am the source of immortality. The light of the sun is my light, but I am beyond this universe." This was the vision of Brigu Varuni, which came from the highest. And that is why, as it said in the Vijnana Bhairava, that if one experiences even for a fraction of a moment the upsurging of joy, that is a glimpse of God. For according to those who have known the truth, all joy that we experience, even the joy that we associate with sensual pleasure, is a taste of the joy of God. When we meet a friend after a long time and we feel that wonderful joy on embracing him or her, that is the joy of God. And when we taste a sweet fruit, that sweetness is God. All of the wonderful delight we experience in this world is just a little taste of the perfect and completely full joy that resides in us as God's bliss, that which the Vedantists refer to as Ananda.